This week on 2 Years, we talk about the Utah St. George mission in lovely St. George, Utah, where it's bright and sunny and always hot. The weather in the mission depends on which part of the mission you're in. If you're up north, you'll have hot and cold. If you're down here in St. George or Mesquite, it's mainly just hot. I mean, it does cool down in the winter time, but during the summer, you're looking on average 112 degrees. So definitely sunscreen and maybe some shades. Now, don't get it twisted. It does rain in St. George, and then when it does rain, it floods pretty bad. You get flash flood warnings out throughout the mission. But you're not really going to see a lot of snow, if any at all. That's typically more up in Fillmore, Ridgefield, up in those areas. So just keep that in mind. Now you're probably asking yourself, how do you get around? Well, in the mission you do get some pretty nice newer cars. Not these ones, but they're newer. You have the grand opportunity to ride the bicycle. Gets you around if you're Lance Armstrong or if you got powerful thighs. Now as far as getting to the mission, you'll fly from Salt Lake to St. George, and then from St. George you'll meet up and then drive to whichever area you're going to. St. George Airport's pretty nice. I mean, there's a vending machine, so there's a few snacks, I guess. And there's one terminal, so you know, you can't miss it. Now within the mission, there's usually two major age groups I've noticed in this town, which is college students, because you've got a couple universities in your area. But in St. George, you typically have young kids who are going to school, Utah Tech, and then you also have the older generation that are trying to stay warm during the winter time and during the summertime, trying to keep the arthritis down, you know what I'm saying? So typically you're going to see, I mean, there's young families along that, but the majority is going to be younger college students and older people, just saying. In this mission, you have plenty of grocery stores to choose from: Albertsons, Smith's, Walmart, plenty of groceries to get. There are a few exceptions, considering areas that are out where you have to use like a gas station or a corner store, like the little town grocery store where it's a little bit more expensive. Saturdays and Sundays, members try to provide meals, which is always great. And then some restaurants give you free food called freebies because they're members. It's pretty awesome. Now, when we start talking about housing, what does housing look like in the mission? That is going to be typically a 2-bedroom, 1-bath type of situation. Couple of dressers, couple of tables, decent kitchen, pots, pans, all that fun stuff. A refrigerator, believe it or not. And that might be in an apartment or it might be with members. It just depends on your area. You have all your assortment of, you know, KitchenAid stuff that you'll need. Now we'll go over the areas such as St. George, Mesquite, Beaver, Fillmore, maybe a few other spots if we get the time. So the St. George area has the most of everything, to be honest with you. You've got a whole bunch of stores, you have a bunch of restaurants. It's a pretty city, if I do say so myself. You see over there you've got the temple, a whole bunch of houses, the desert off there in the back. And then they have these little walk/bike paths that go and connect throughout the whole city. You got a couple of temples that are in construction area, such as the St. George Temple. You also have the Red Cliffs Temple, which is still under construction. Looks great though. Alrighty, so we're here in Mesquite. Really not much to see, to be honest with you. Quite a few ballparks, golf, a couple of stores. You got Smith's, Domino's, Jack in the Box, Walgreens, a couple of gas stations, but I mean, other than that, I'm really not seeing much. So it's also really hot. It's about 110 degrees right now when it's 5 o'clock, so I'd say it's pretty hot. So drove through the city, didn't really see much. Lots of casinos, lots of palm trees, lots of little tiny stores. So I mean, if that's what you're into. Typical P-Day here in Mesquite. See it right there? Nothing like a good little casino trip. I'm kidding, let's go. Alrighty, so we made it to Beaver. So there's a lot of little farmhouses around here, farmland. There's a tiny little town over yonder that way, not too much. But if you do go to Beaver, I highly suggest going to the, let's see if we can get there, the creamery, and get some ice cream or some cheese curds or anything like that. It's pretty good stuff, just saying. Just make sure it's not raining or lightning on you. Should be good to go. So as you can tell, they're definitely prideful here in Beaver about being from Beaver. Whether that be in their little rodeos or the farmlands, whatever they got going on. It's a general overlook of Beaver. If you get a sign there, you know, just in case. And last but not least, we're in Fillmore. We can focus. Hey, there we go. So driving through Fillmore, I didn't really see a lot of open area, as you can see, going back and forth. There's a Maverick with a Cinnabon. There is a Burger King, a Costa Vida, and an Iceberg, if you know what that's all about. But, I mean, other than that, I'm really not seeing much, except for some trucks, some people getting some gas, and some broken EV pumps. So that's going to be it for the St. George mission. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you saw, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Out!